Hey guys, we're going to be playing Get to Know Witch today as I answer RavenFlowers' 17 witchy questions of 2017. So hold tight. Okay, I know I promised I would answer RavenFlowers' 17 witchy questions, and I will. But can I just talk about rosemary for a minute? I love rosemary. I use it on almost everything. On my cardboard pizzas, on chicken and noodles, on roast beef. It is my favorite culinary herb. It's a lot of people's favorite culinary herb, and my go-to joint for picking up all my herbs and spices for the kitchen is usually Penzies, and they usually do me really well. You know, they treat me real well there. I've never had bad customer service there at all. The staff really, really knows what they're doing, and they cook with all the ingredients there quite often. But I was hard up for some rosemary one day while I was just out shopping at Hy-Vee, I think it was. I want to say Hy-Vee. And I needed some rosemary real bad because I was, completely out. I was down to like maybe a few leaves left, and I just picked up either some McCormick brand rosemary or some Tony's rosemary, something with a T. It'll come to me later on. Anyway, I was surprised by how much more fragrant and green the rosemary was. I was really surprised. It was a much better quality, I think, than Penzies rosemary is, which really surprised me. However, they're drying it. It still keeps a nice, fresh, true verdant green color, whereas Penzies seemed much duller, as if it had just sort of been sitting around forever. Um, So I was hard up for rosemary again yesterday actually, and I went to our local market, not a Hy-Vee, and I looked and looked and looked for Totino's. No, it's not Tones, or Tones rosemary or McCormick rosemary, and I could not find it. Instead, they were stocking this Best Choice rosemary. Y'all, if I hadn't been hard up, I wouldn't have bought it at all. It just looked old. It looked dull, lifeless, as though it hadn't been, as though it had been just sitting around for a while before they decided to jar it up and get it sent on the way. So yeah, I'm just a picky bitch when it comes to my herbs and spices. I like them a certain way. I like herbs of quality. So if anyone knows of a place where I can find herbs of really good quality for sale, let me know. And I will probably continue this video in just a few minutes after the guys that have just pulled in our yard have finished mowing, because I will not speak over the sound of their lawnmowers. So I will catch you in 20 minutes. They finally finished mowing. So I'm back, and I'm going to answer RavenFlowers' 17 witchy questions. Question number 1. When times get tough, do you fight or take flight? I am very much a fighter. When I was in college, actually the last year I was in college, I was bashed by a local member of the neo-Nazi skinheads. I was walking home of an evening. I had just walked past the movie theater, and my home was a block down the street. or my apartment was blocked on the street, and he just came up behind me and clocked me in the head, and he basically kept trying to throw punches at me while I was walking, trying to defend the blows. There was no one around, certainly no cops. I made it home. I had some pretty heavy, what we now know as PTSD, for a few years at least after that. Every time I would hear the sound of footsteps behind me, I would jump and start at the sound for quite a while. I am over that now. Um, yeah, the cops, there were absolutely no help whatsoever. Um, of course, you have to remember this was the same station that actually colluded in raping a woman. um, they were found guilty, thankfully, but two cops with the force actually raped a woman in Preston. One of them, basically held her down while the other guy did his thing. So I'm not really surprised. At the very least, they could have put my apartment on the route, but I was told by them that my life was in danger and that I should leave town immediately. So I did. Um, to add insult to injury, the school contacted me and told me not to bother coming back, which is unfortunate. Um, you know, Apparently the cops knew about this element, and I think that if I were with the police, I would have gotten together with someone within the college at the time and informed them about this element so that the students would know, so that they could better look out for themselves and for each other. But maybe that's just perhaps too much to ask, because from the other perspective, I'm sure they would want anyone to know about this, because it might convince parents not to send their children to that school. Um, I do sometimes fight, and on different levels. Um, Usually, when I feel as though I have been personally and fundamentally wrong, I will really get in someone's face after that. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while I will. They have to really deeply wrong me at a very personal, heart centered level, which thankfully doesn't happen often. Okay, question number 2. Is there a certain color that you connect with? Um, yeah. Uh, Pretty much the blues and greens, sometimes black. I'm a ginger. We have a very limited palette that actually looks nice on us, and for me, it happens to be the blue range because of my blue eyes, and aqua definitely because I'm a Pisces. Um, what is your sun, moon, and rising sign? Well, as I said before, I am a Pisces. That's my sun sign. My moon sign is Capricorn, and my rising sign is Scorpio, which is my mom's sign, or sun sign. Yeah, mom is every bit of Scorpio in the sense that she likes to ruin movies or blurt out how a movie's gonna end up coming about before the movie even even gets to that point. Whereas I like to just sit back and enjoy the movie, enjoy the story. She's not. She's got to know how it ends before it ends, and that just totally spoils the movie. It spoils the experience for me. Um, because your rising sign is, well, I like to think of sun sign versus rising sign in this way. Your rising sign are your book covers. Your sun sign are the interior contents of that book. So my ego, my personality is every bit a Pisces, but the part of me that I try and show the world is more like a Scorpio. Um, that is really in terms of scholarship, in terms of research, in terms of even the occult, really. But also, it can be very physical as well. Which, if you know anything about astrology, you kind of know where I'm getting with that without me actually being quite that explicit. Um, Question number 3. Oh, actually, that was question number 3. Question number 4. Something you would change if you could. Self, the world, or magically. Um, what I change if I could? I would probably, completely end poverty in this country and in the world. Actually, I would end poverty globally if I could. And there are easy ways to do it if governments would just quit with the greed, with the whole power structure involved with the corporate elites that basically control this world that we live in. Because capitalism has enriched them and they don't want to try anything else. Question number 5. Are you passing down your knowledge to the next generation? If so, what way? Well, I am running books, and that I hope will really be my legacy, my magical legacy, to pass on what I know and to try and get people to really question authority. And I'm also going to be doing more of that with this channel as well, passing a lot of what I know in terms of magic, in terms of really thinking of things outside the box, which which is what I really enjoy getting people to do, is thinking outside the box in terms of magic and the occult. Uh, let's see, ancestor connections, who's coming through? Well, um, I'm sure I have a lot of ancestors coming through. I'm sure they would definitely come through when I ask them to, such as my great aunt Liz, to whom I was extremely close, or even my grandmother. And if any of them are listening now, I could really use a lot of help going back to school so I can get my degree in music education. That would be just a huge help. Thank you. Chop chop. Time is of the essence. I'm not getting any younger, folks. But yeah, I'm sure I have lots of help from the other side. Number 7. Do you prefer to do magic with others or by yourself? I have a mixed bag. I enjoy doing things on my own, but I also have a yearning and a pining for a group traditional coven experience. A coven and a tradition with a lineage to some degree, so that I can really experience magic in more of a group setting. Do you feel there is only one type of meditation? I'm not really sure. I only do one type of meditation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think there's only one type of meditation. If other types work for you, fine. I'm not going to judge you in that sense. Have you tried a new form of divination this year? Um, I haven't really. I really stick with the tarot as my primary form of divination. Number 11 is, what is your favorite way to connect to the elements? Really just experiencing the elements, especially growing herbs um, from the ground up from seeds, and then taking them and working with them in a magical sense. Whether that is compounding an incense, brewing a potion, um, lighting a candle, things like that. I really connect to the elements at a very practical level. Um, Number 12 is tea or coffee. Yes. Actually, I prefer herbal teas. I don't really like a lot of caffeine, but I do enjoy my coffee every now and again. I've really been blowing through my Starbucks card. Do you come from a witchy family? Do you feel that bloodline is important, or does it matter? I don't really come from a witchy family. I do believe that bloodline is important, but it doesn't matter. Um, to me, well, it helps to see where you've come from, and maybe if you've picked up any traits from any ancestors you've had that you've maybe never known before. For example, I am a herbalist, and I learned just a few years ago that my great great grandmother, or maybe great 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 grandmother, who immigrated here from Sweden when she was a teenager, was actually a renowned folk herbalist, and she would often, make herbal medicines all the time. And it's really interesting to know that I'm sort of carrying that on. Number 4, list 3 of your favorite witchy YouTube channels. I really hate picking just 3, but they would definitely have to be Ember Honey Raven. Love that girl. Um, Sunshine Morning Ray, and Mirth and Reverence. Mirth and Reverence. If you're watching, and I hope you are, I really, really, really hope you write a book one of these days. You are a phenomenal woman. You have just a warm, genuine personality, and I really hope that you end up writing a book one of these days. What is your favorite witchy book? Well, they are Power of the Witch, The Witch's Way by Janet Stewart Farrar, Power of the Witch is by Laurie Cabot, Wicca, The Old Religion in the New Age by Vivian Crowley, and The Elements of Ritual by Deborah Lip. An herb you haven't worked with yet. That would have to be the Solanaceous line of plants, the belladonnas, the mandrakes, things like that. I would really like to work with. I really want to grow my own mandrakes so that I can have my own aura and my plant familiar to work with. What are your goals for the next year? Those are really to finish my book, my first book, but also to earn back my piano chops so that I can go back to school and earn my associate's degree in music, then my bachelor's degree, then hopefully my master's degree, which is 6 years of college. But no bachelor program will accept you without an audition first, and I really need to prepare auditions with which to audition. Yeah. So there is that, and that is my 17 witchy questions to get to know a witch. And I really hope you liked some of what I have to say. And I will see you in just a few moments with one more video.